Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to the Daily Dose. Today, we're continuing a series that's called Imperfect Bible Families. And today, I was given the task of talking to you about this question. What does the Bible say about dealing with mother-in-laws? Well, I am blessed to have a wonderful mother-in-law, but here's what I know. Every one of our families, when you marry into another family, you have different ways of seeing the world. Sometimes you might feel like that family you married into, they are from another planet, You just simply see the world in different ways. And so how is it? How is it that you bring families together? What does the Bible say about dealing with, about loving mother-in-laws, Because that can be a challenging relationship. Well, I want to talk to you about a very short book of the Bible. It's called the Book of Ruth, and it's the story of Naomi and Ruth. Who were they? Well, there was a famine in Bethlehem where Naomi was living. Naomi and her husband, they decided to make their way to Moab. And there in that land, Naomi, along with her husband, they had two sons. Well, it so happened that there in Moab, Naomi's husband died. And guess what happened to her sons? Her sons married two Moabite women. Now, that might seem like a silly little detail, but it would have meant all the world to the ancient people who read Ruth for the first time, because Naomi was from Israel. These women who married her sons were from Moab. They were of different cultures, different beliefs, different ways of seeing the world. This kind of thing just didn't happen in that ancient world. Time went on, and eventually her two sons also died, which left Naomi with these two daughter-in-laws. Their names were Naomi and Orpah, right? Naomi decides, I can't live here anymore. I need to head back to my people where my people will support me both financially and psychologically. I need to be around my people. And so she turns to her daughter-in-laws and she says to them, you go back. You stay in Moab. You stay with your people. And here's what happens. One of them said, you bet. I'm going back home. But the other, Ruth, she says, no way. And the Bible says that what Ruth did is she clung to Naomi. She held on to Naomi. She, in a way, made a pact that nothing will get between me and you. Because the promise that I made to your son, well, that promise isn't just about me and my son. It's about bringing our families together. She says, where you go, I will go also. You see, I imagine, like every other family, that wasn't a perfect relationship. I imagine, in fact, bringing two people of two very different cultures together would have been incredibly hard. But Naomi, she made the decision, even though the relationship wasn't perfect, to cling to her mother-in-law. It's interesting. It makes me think about Jesus. Again and again, it wasn't the perfect people that were drawn to Jesus. It was the imperfect people that Jesus was always spending time with. People like that prostitute who barged in on Jesus. He was having a meal with some of the perfect people, the Pharisees, and this prostitute was sobbing uncontrollably. She barges in and she washes Jesus' feet with oil and perfume and her tears. And Jesus said to her, it's your faith that set you free. Go. It's also Jesus who recognized a tax collector in a crowd, a guy that everyone would have hated. And he said to that tax collector, it's your house that I'm going to. It was Jesus who was sitting at a well, and he struck up a conversation with a woman who had been with more men than she could count. And Jesus said to her, I give you living water. You see, Jesus is always finding himself with imperfect people. And those imperfect people, they love Jesus uncontrollably. I wonder why that was. I wonder why imperfect people from all different walks of life, whose lives were seen by others as just simply wrong, why were they drawn to Jesus? They were drawn to Jesus because Jesus simply loved them. What do we do with our mother-in-laws? What does the Bible say about that? Here's what I know. That relationship, it'll never be perfect. It's always imperfect because we're imperfect people. And we come from imperfect families. So it's no doubt that relationship will never be perfect. What do? Maybe we do simply what Jesus did. We simply love in the midst of all that imperfection. We simply love. We do like Ruth did. And we cling to one another. Folks, thanks so much. Thank you so much for tuning into the Daily Dose. If you're watching on Facebook, I invite you to share this. You'll hit like. Maybe if you're watching on YouTube, you'll share the link. You'll hit the bell so you get notifications. Or if you're watching on Cable Access 181, why don't you tell a friend and watch with them tomorrow? Thanks so much for tuning in. Take care.